I hereby declare to the Pokémon of the world, I will be a Pokémon master.
Must have them all.
You're no match for my Samus.
And my Kirby.
And Marth, if you're up to it.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 collectible fads. For this list, we're taking a look at products that were extremely popular to collect for a period of time. We've excluded McDonald's toys because collecting them was never really a fad.
You can get the party started with a mind-bendingly cool toy in your McDonald's Happy Meal.
Number 10. Garbage Pail Kids.
They're like baseball cards, but hilarious. One day, these will be worth millions.
In the mid-'80s, Garbage Pail Kids exploded in popularity like an atom bomb. These repulsive and violent trading cards were made to satirize the cute and innocent Cabbage Patch Kids, which you might see later on this list.
Are those stupid cards where babies are doing disgusting things?
No, they're the amazing cards where babies are doing hysterical things.
While the cards were disgusting to say the least, they were also insanely hilarious and creative.
Yeah, there's been a cut in his leg and just millions of spiders have come out. Either that or there are just loads of spiders and one happens to have gone and a cut in his leg.
To this day, they still resonate with the immature kid in us all. The Topps company even came out with a series of new cards in 2014, tapping into our 80s nostalgia. Wow, somebody really ought to produce a cartoon series and a feature film based on this product.
Oh, hot dogs! You're safe!
Yeah, and I ran my dogs off for you guys!
Right, maybe not.
Concentrate on what you do. Buckle down, it's up to you.
We can do anything by working with each other.
Number 9. Magic Cards.
Scrambles plays a Black Swamp mana card. Fluffy counters with a mana card of his own.
If there were ever a fantasy-based game to give Dungeons & Dragons a run for its gold pieces, it's Magic the Gathering.
People collect the cards like baseball cards, and then they play a strategy game with them that's kind of like a combination of poker and chess.
Growing up, chances are you knew a group of kids that spent their lunch period trading Magic cards. Of course, you probably know a few adults that participate in Magic tournaments too.
It's planning it out. It's how do you get there. It's stopping your opponent from doing what he wants to while slowly reeling him in.
Introduced in 1993, this game has often been described as cardboard crack. And we can see why. It creates a world of its own that's quite easy to lose oneself in. Collecting every card will cost you a pretty penny, but it's worth the investment to become the ultimate planeswalker.
Kill your birds of paradise, and that is the end. Sean McLaren is your champion.
Number 8. Furby.
There's no off button.
No, we've talked about this before. You gotta lock them in a closet.
Remember when Furby was the must-have holiday gift? After they were released in 1998, there wasn't a kid in the late 90s that didn't want this weird owl hamster robot thing. That's probably why 40 million of them were sold in the first 3 years alone. It wasn't just a toy, it was practically a pet that could talk, sleep, and even dance with a mind of its own. So our parents spent hundreds of dollars buying us these furry fuzzballs, and we got sick of them pretty quickly.
Gotta get rid of those Furbies. They've turned feral.
Admit it, you threw your Furby against the wall when it wouldn't shut up. Even if Furby was basically a Gizmo knockoff, we'll always have fond memories of getting one on Christmas morning.
Is that Gizmo from Gremlins?
No, that's my Furby. He's talking to Gizmo.
Mugwai, not fussy.
Grandpa.
Freaking.
Number 7. Troll Doll.
When you wish on a treasure troll, who knows what might happen?
They were originally made by a Danish fisherman in 1959. And while the troll dolls peaked in popularity during the early 1960s, they've maintained success from the 70s onward.
I do Seinfeld going like, what kind of doll is this? His arms and legs don't move. He doesn't have any pants on. What kind of doll is it?
DreamWorks Animation even has a Trolls feature film in production starring Justin Timberlake and Anna Kendrick. Troll dolls are just so hard to resist, with their wide eyes, friendly smiles, and crazy hair you just want to brush. Are we the only ones concerned they're naked though?
Nudity.
Seriously, put on some pants. Regardless, there will always be something appealing about these strangely adorable dolls. Let's just pretend Trolls never happened.
Though some may say he's just a fool, our spell will make that boyfriend cool.
Number 6. Sports cards.
Babe Ruth, no doubt about it, the most highly touted player in the history of the game. His earliest card from 1914, in terrible condition, albeit much more scarce, sold for almost $500,000.
If your grandpa held on to any baseball, football, basketball, or hockey cards from his youth, you may want to check the value of his collection. They could make your family extremely rich.
If you buy 100 items this year, 1 or 2 or 3 might go up in value, but 30, 40, or 50 will be sold below cost.
Though they've inspired games of Need 'em Got 'em for well over a century, sports cards have gone through some changes over the years. For example, they're no longer produced by tobacco companies or included in cigarette packs. Nevertheless, these trading cards have always maintained a timeless charm that can appeal to anybody who's ever dreamed of owning a sports team.
No, Doug, you're missing the point. You have to bargain a little bit.
Well, all right, okay. I'll throw in Mays and Johnny Bench.
Just try not to break your teeth on the bubblegum. Number 5. PEZ Dispensers.
What is that, a PEZ dispenser?
Yeah, you want one?
Hey!
I just bought it at the flea market.
First sold in Austria in 1927, these bite-sized candies have transcended the food industry to become icons in the collectible community. The great thing about PEZ dispensers is that the manufacturing possibilities are endless. You can put any head on a dispenser, whether it's a historical icon, cartoon character, or political figure. Seeing as how there are over 550 dispensers, and many of them have inspired numerous different variations, a PEZ Heads collection is never truly complete. Number 4. Cabbage Patch Kids.
When the doors opened at this Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania store, the pushing and shoving began. One woman was knocked to the floor and suffered a broken leg.
Created in 1978 by 21-year-old art student Xavier Roberts, Cabbage Patch Kids took the world by storm in the 80s. Every kid dreamed of adopting one of these darling dolls, resulting in the Cabbage Patch riots. We kid you not. When Cabbage Patch Kids first hit the shelves in the US in 1983, anarchy broke out across American retail stores. Reports claim that people were arming themselves with baseball bats just to get their hands on these hot-ticket items. While Cabbage Patch Kids remained a bestseller for years to come, shoppers never went crazy for them like they did in late 1983. Now we just go crazy every Black Friday.
I got my fist up if somebody tries to steal something from me.
Number 3. Pokémon Trading Cards.
Are you gonna eat lunch? Nah, I blew my food allowance on Pokémon cards.
Although Pokémon is still a popular franchise, there was a time when it dominated the friggin' world. Kids watched every episode of the anime series, devoured every Game Boy game, and sought to collect every trading card.
Hey, look here, honey, another Metapod. You can never have enough Metapods, can you, Doogie?
If you grew up in the late 90s, chances are your entire life revolved around filling a 3-ring binder with every Pokémon card, and maybe even playing the trading card game. Kids took the ad campaign quite literally in a quest to catch them all, which only got harder when the list expanded beyond 151. While most of us eventually moved on to other things, we'll never forget the blessed day when we got our first Charizard.
I don't want to be around all these babies playing Pokemon badly. This kid right here is just wasting his Charizard. You are wasting your Charizard!
Number 2. Pogs.
Excuse me, my good man. I have $500 to blow. What have you got?
Behold, the ultimate pug.
I'll take it.
Pogs got their start in Hawaii as early as 1927, but they wouldn't become a phenomenon until the 90s. Even if you never learned how to play the game growing up, there's little doubt that you had a Pogtainer filled with these small discs.
A Pog holder thing you can put your Pogs in.
Why? Because manufacturers could print virtually anything on them. Whether you were into cartoons, video games, or ALF, there was a set of Pogs out there for every kid to collect. It's a pretty simple idea, but that's part of what makes Pogs so brilliant.
And you smash down bigger Pogs onto them to try and flip them up like that. And because they were weighted with the staple, when they go up in the air, they flip themselves over. And that was the entire game. And you collected them, and they were just basically cardboard discs.
Before we get to our top pick, here are some honorable mentions.
This was the most popular vending toy that we ever had in the history of my business. In the history of my business, from the inception of the vending until now, the Homies was the most popular thing.
Polly Pocket, Polly's water fun park, a big slide for the pair. Then happy birthday, surprise, it's a bear! Polly Pocket,
Kids collect them, they wear them, they trade them, they use them as a fashion accessory. More so now, it's becoming kind of a currency for parents and coaches around the country and the world.
It can be pretty difficult to do at first. Try using an obstacle. Help you pop onto. That's what helped me.
Number 1. Beanie Babies.
This picture exists in only 2 places. The negative is in my personal safe, along with my will and some Beanie Babies that I thought would be worth more.
Everybody loves a teddy bear. With Beanie Babies, however, Ty Warner Inc. didn't stop at stuffed bears. They produced stuffed rhinos, stuffed zebras, stuffed octopuses, etc. Basically, if a species of animal existed, it inspired a Beanie Baby. First introduced in 1991, and becoming a hot commodity within 4 years, the darling bean-stuffed animals of course draw in kids, but even adults couldn't resist them.
They kept saying, oh, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was so exciting. And we just remember hearing about how much they were worth and looking in the price guides, and we just kept accumulating them and kept accumulating them.
It wasn't enough to just have one Beanie Baby, though. You had to possess all of these cuddly creatures, even if it meant emptying your 401k. Collecting them paid off in the end, however, as we all know that Beanie Babies are now worth a fortune. Right?
I really should have checked the value more than once every 16 years. Where you going?
To live with my sister's family, and on the way get an application to be a Walmart greeter.
Do you agree with our list? Which collectible fad made you take out a loan?
These things are really hard to load.
For more entertaining top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
I tell you what, I'll buy them from you. You got a ton of them.
No, these are like an investment. This is my future here, okay? So don't mess with them.